Hey guys, Steve from the Anaheim Rentex office again. Today we're going to walk you through doing a motor swap on a Christie Digital ILS lens for the HD20KJs or the HD14KMs. To get started, all we're really going to need tools-wise is 2.5mm ball-end wrench and a pair of clippers, and of course the new motor in the box along with the bag of wires and extra bolts just in case we need it. So to begin with, this motor on the zoom side of this lens was pretty much frozen. It wasn't moving at all. So first thing we need to do is remove the lens cover. Real easy to do. On either side of the motor connections here, there's two holes. You take our 2.5mm wrench. We're going to put it down inside, feel around for that. Loosen up about 5 or 6 turns on each side. Not going to pull them all the way out. And then we're going to slide the motor cover off. So now I've got the motor cover off and we're looking at the motors. And before we take this fully apart, we're going to do just a little bit of prep work on this side. We're going to push the motor and lens aside and we're going to look at the new ones. And what everybody does with these apparently is they'll file down these little nibs right here on either side of the connector. Personally, I just break out the snips. Make life a little easier for me, not as much work, and it's a much quicker, cleaner method of solving this problem. So now it's time to take the motors off. The motors are held onto the bracket with 2 bolts, one here and one back here. And the connectors are held on from underneath by 2 bolts on this side and over on this side. So we're going to start by taking the brackets off using a 2.5mm ball end. Yeah. Then we're going to lay the motor down, and now we can see the bolts that hold the connectors on. First one out. Turn it over a little bit. And we're going to get the second one out. So now we've got the entire assembly taken out. Motor and connector. So before we go any further here, we're going to take a look. We see on the connector, we've got 2 spots up here that don't have pins in them and none down below. What we're going to do is we're going to match that up with the old motor, and we're going to insert these jumper cables into the back here and through the front so it matches up the old motor. These came in the bag with the screws and the rest of the jumpers, and what this does is it sends a signal back to the panel driver within the projector, and it basically tells it what kind of lens is in the projector. So once again, we're looking at it. We've got 2 blanks up here and nothing down here. We see how these connectors and jumpers are looped, both on top and the back. We're going to do the same thing with this motor. So what we're going to do is on the bottom, every slot is full. So we're going to take our connector, and we see that it's got a clip on it. So that clip is what's going to go in to the very top. So we're going to push this through. Sorry, like so, upside down. I'm going to push it in. It's going to go all the way in. You're going to hear a click. I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. So we fill all our spaces. Now we're going to look at the top. Okay, so we've got pin, 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 space, 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 2 pins, and then 1 pin. So on this one, we've got pin, 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 2 open spaces, 2 pins, another. So we're going to make these 2 our jumper. Grab another one, jumper cable out of the bag. Again, we're going to look for the clip. See the clip here? As I turn it, you see a little piece that sticks up. That's the clip on top. So one in here, clip. And another one just next to it. Here, clip in. We match that up to the old motor, and we have a match. Now we're ready to put the motors back on the lens. Alright, and we're back. And we're ready to put the motors back on. But I'm going to show you a little trick first. Because you have to hold the motors in place, as well as put the bolts in and screw them in, I'm going to show you a little trick I learned long ago. We're going to take our ball and wrench and just a bit of clear tape that I found cut off earlier. And you can use board tape or some other kind of thin tape. I'm just using plastic packing tape for now. I'm going to put that over the end of my ball and wrench. I'm going to take my bolt and shove it on there real good until it sits in place. And we're going to pivot our lens around just a little bit. Put our motor on. And that tape is going to hold that Allen head bolt in place and allow us to screw it in. Pivot it around, line the motor position up. Put our bolt on again. And screw it back in place. Now, lay it down and we can put our connections on. Now remember, as we're putting this on, to keep in mind that the wide part of this connector needs to face up as we put it on, and that the bolts for to hold the connector on screw in from below. So we can kind of sit here and place this on. I'm going to start screwing this in to place. Pop that out. Put our bolt back on. Come in through this side again. Screw this one in place. And we're all done. There we have it. New motor assembly mounted onto the lens. We're going to put it back into the projector and test it to make sure it works, and then put the motor cover back on, the very last thing. So just want to show you, while I can, how to put the motor cover back on. Quite the same as taking it off. We're going to look at it. This is the connections, pieces that slide in. So you're going to put just under that motor, a little lip in there. You just barely see the bolt. Slide it into place. Make sure it's nice and snug. Get rid of our tape on our driver. Start screwing it down. Screw the other side into place. And we're done. Motor is swapped out and cover placed back on. Whole thing takes about 15 minutes at the very most to accomplish. Have a good day, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to call.